of Shedeur Sanders' first NFL start as a rookie quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Now, all of a sudden, Kevin Stefanski's whole demeanor has changed surrounding around Shedeur Sanders. Well, guys, man, I'm here to tell you, man, Kevin Stefanski's last-minute preparation before they get on the plane to head to Las Vegas, he had an interview and he was talking.
Man, this whole thing almost blew up because the second Kevin Stefanski flipped his whole energy on Shedeur Sanders, the NFL timeline lit up like somebody dropped a match in a gas station. One moment he's calm and quiet, and the next he's acting like he's plotting some dramatic mastermind plan, like he's trying out for a supervillain origin story. And whatever he's cooking, it's either brilliant, messy, or some wild mix of both, but it definitely feels intentional. This twist is so wild it might bend football logic into a pretzel. The night before Shedeur's first NFL start should have been peaceful, the kind of moment where everyone just breathes and hopes the rookie doesn't get smashed by Max Crosby on national TV. But Cleveland can never have anything simple, because Stefanski picked that exact moment to change his whole personality, like he got hit with some sudden quarterback guru transformation.
Me, a coach that doesn't even mention his player's name, wants the best interest for his player.
These haters trying to hold me back.
You holding him back from his full potential. That was his first time having reps with the one. And the excuse was this: we're trying to prioritize reps for Dillon Gabriel. Did Dillon Gabriel get any reps when he was the number 2 guy behind the starter of Joe Flacco?
One minute he's neutral and quiet, built like a spreadsheet come to life, and the next he's talking like he just unlocked the secrets of the universe from watching Shedeur's footwork. Something shifted, something sneaky, and he didn't hide a thing. It all started earlier in the week when the football god spun the wheel of chaos and landed on Dillon Gabriel entering concussion protocol. That alone had Browns fans holding their chest like someone unplugged their whole emotional support system. And right when the panic hit its peak, here comes Shedeur jogging out with zero hesitation. No warm-up, no warning, no starter reps, just pure confidence and the kind of self-belief people only have when they pick a restaurant without checking one review. And the wildest part? He didn't flinch for a second. This wasn't random. This wasn't luck. This was a rookie stepping into fire without blinking, while his coach suddenly acted like he'd been waiting for this twist the whole time. He gets tossed into the second half against Baltimore, a squad known for making grown players rethink their whole career. And instead of falling apart, he shows actual promise.
Before, and I'll say it again, I do not think Kevin Stefanski wants Shedeur Sanders to succeed in Cleveland. The reason being is, don't tell me what he said, don't tell me what he's saying. I'm going off of actions. All right, let's go off actions. The actions is, if I'm Shedeur or if I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan, I would not want him to take the field, because that's going to consistently be the display we're going to see. It doesn't matter if it's Deshaun Watson. It doesn't matter if it's Shedeur Sanders. It doesn't matter if it's Dillon Gabriel. It doesn't matter if it's Dan Orlovsky.
Real, easy to see promise that doesn't need any fancy microscope to spot. The Browns coaching staff probably expected him to freeze, stumble, breathe into a paper bag, or just mentally check out on the spot. But nope, he came in calm. Fans caught a spark of hope, and somehow Kevin Stefanski caught actual emotions. That alone is wild, because this man usually talks like someone installed a software update called Basic Coach Mode, delivering 5-second speeches with the same energy as a printer loading paper. But suddenly this week he's different. Not over the top joyful, but noticeably more alive, like somebody slipped espresso into his water bottle without warning. Then the real bomb dropped. Shedeur was officially named QB1 for the Raiders game. Not a temporary fill-in, not a break glass emergency option, but QB1 for real. A title he earned off half a game and 0 first-team reps, which is already crazy. But what happened next went even further. Stefanski looked thrilled, genuinely thrilled. The same man who usually has the facial expression of someone calculating third down math suddenly had brightness in his eyes, like he just found treasure. And that's when the truth slid out. Shedeur wasn't getting first-team reps all preseason, all camp, all OTAs, nothing.
Albert Breer with is, of course he didn't look ready. He wasn't prepped to be ready. He wasn't ever given a single rep with the starters, and so obviously that's why he was not, quote-unquote, looking ready. But he at least had to admit that Shedeur did have a couple good throws, right, some flashes, and so I think it's kind of hard to judge that half of it.
He was basically practicing like some hidden backup stored away just in case, like a designated survivor locked in a padded room until everything fell apart. But now he's running with the starters, looking smooth, confident, and fully in command of the offense. Suddenly the whole team is staring at him like, dang, maybe all he needed was the real squad to show he belongs out here. And Stefanski, yes, that Stefanski, has finally seen what everyone outside Berea has been shouting for months, and he couldn't ignore it any longer. The throws, the presence, the calm vibe, all the stuff that makes defensive coordinators mutter, "Oh no," under their breath, is right there in front of him. You can practically picture Stefanski at practice watching Shedeur sling passes like a man watching someone ride a bike without training wheels for the very first time. Proud, shocked, and a little nervous all at once. Shedeur's receivers feel it too. The O-line feels that shift in the air around him, where he suddenly looks less like a rookie trying to stay afloat and more like someone quietly claiming, "I'm the captain now." It's a subtle change, but you can't miss it, and apparently Stefanski caught every single detail of that new swagger. That's when the coach's whole vibe started transforming, like slow motion shape-shifting into a completely different dude. By the time Stefanski sat down for the Browns preview interview, he couldn't even hide what was happening inside. He looked like he was buzzing. His voice had this extra spark. His face was fighting off a smile, and he spoke like someone who finally realized his job security might actually rest in the hands of this kid. He didn't give him first-team reps before.
It's ridiculous to sit there. I mean, just sometimes you gotta, Cam, I enjoy watching Cam Newton sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta look in the mirror and say what you're about to say before you say it, and then think about how it sounds when you're by yourself. A coach of an NFL team who's desperate,
I wish I would have done that many times.
Who's trying to save his job.
Yesterday morning.
Mind you, I think everybody knows Kevin Stefanski's up against it here.
But now he's talking like Shedeur's been grinding at a secret superhero lab. Suddenly, he's praising his preparation, hyping his work ethic, analyzing his mechanics, and giving credit to the same little details that supposedly didn't exist a few days ago. And honestly, this is classic coach behavior when they realize they misjudged someone. There's that tiny panic, that quiet scramble to rewrite the whole story and act like they were believers from day one. Stefanski might not say it out loud, but his energy is shouting, "I've loved Shedeur this whole time." It's like when someone pretends they always loved a song after it blows up online. Now he's selling the idea that Shedeur's been grinding nonstop, doing all the small things, mastering every detail, and that part is completely true. But let's be real, Stefanski never sounded this impressed before. You don't jump from "we'll see" energy to full-on sparkle in the eyes unless something serious flips the script. And that something was probably him finally watching Shedeur take legit first-team reps and realizing he might have accidentally left his best quarterback sitting on the practice shelf like some forgotten clearance item nobody bothered to check twice.
He said some things about Shedeur Sanders that raised my eyebrows. And I'm saying to myself, why all of a sudden you have changed your whole demeanor surrounding around Shedeur Sanders? So I got to thinking. Shedeur Sanders was named QB1 because Dillon Gabriel was put in.
Now the Raiders game is creeping up. Las Vegas, bright lights, loud crowd, and Max Crosby bringing that wild, unstoppable aggression. Pete Carroll is over there trying to rebuild a team he walked into like a firefighter entering a burning warehouse. Both squads sitting at matching 2-8 records, which sounds rough until you remember everyone's tuning in for one reason only: Shedeur's first real showcase on the big stage. Expect cameras everywhere. Expect the broadcast crew overheating. Expect someone in the production truck low-key stressing because they've got too many highlight angles lined up at once. And Stefanski knows all of this, every bit of it. That's the crazy part. He knows the world is watching this kid. He knows the hype is alive. He knows the Browns haven't had this level of electric energy in forever, and suddenly he wants to be part of the story. Or at least part of the credit. That's where the shift in his whole demeanor stops looking like excitement and starts looking like strategy. The man is straightening his posture, adjusting his tone, picking words like he's carefully disarming something dangerous. He's stepping lightly, way too lightly, like he's positioning himself perfectly to say, I always saw this in him. If Shedeur goes off on Sunday, it's not shady. It's coaching politics. No coach wants to be the one who slept on a breakout star, and that's what makes this whole sudden twinkle in the eyes moment so entertaining. It really feels like Stefanski wants everyone to believe he always knew Shedeur had this in him. Even though the kid spent the whole summer treated like the NFL's quiet understudy nobody truly focused on. It's like watching someone pretend they always believed their neighbor's kid would turn into a millionaire the second that kid launches a booming company. But maybe, just maybe, Stefanski actually got hit with real excitement. Maybe he watched Shedeur run those first-team drills and caught some kind of spiritual shock that this kid might actually carry the franchise on his back. Maybe he saw the receivers vibing with him, the O-line locking in for him, the whole energy shifting around him, and thought, well, I'll be darned, crazier things have happened. Whatever he witnessed, it flipped a switch inside him for real.
Finally start to clear up all of the questions and speculation surrounding Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel and the quarterback situation in Cleveland with Kevin Stefanski. This is from Albert Breer, called into 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland the other day, and he said from his understanding, Kevin Stefanski reportedly privately told offensive coaches on his staff that this would be a scheduled red shirt season.
His body language told the story instantly. The extra bounce in his step, the small smile sneaking through, the posture of a man holding a secret he wasn't ready to reveal yet. And now everybody's asking the same question. Is he playing checkers, or is he scrambling not to look shocked that a rookie showed up and performed like that? Is he trying to spin the narrative? Is he playing chess while the rest of the league watches Shedeur shine harder than expected? Because the switch-up is undeniable, almost theatrical. This coach, who hasn't cracked a legit smile since the Obama days, is suddenly giving off "I just found a golden ticket" energy, and fans are staring at him like, since when do you sound this happy about anything? The funniest part is imagining the internal panic that had to hit him when he realized Shedeur is the most watched rookie in the league right now. The vibe inside him switched from mute button to full megaphone. It's all part of the classic NFL tradition. Acting like you foresaw greatness when really you just got blasted by it out of nowhere.
Thing about Shedeur. Training camp. Shedeur keeps the main thing.
Oh, he was saying his name then?
Yeah, he was saying it then. He was asked if he was considered playing Sanders. He said, that's not my focus.
At this point in time, Shedeur is the number 3 quarterback on the depth chart. So it's easy for him to deflect.
After the Jets lost, we're sticking with Gabriel. We have to play better as an offense.
He does not mention his name starting in October. Also, what happens in October? Joe Flacco gets traded. This is big.
But now there's no hiding it. There's no hiding now. Not when the cameras are rolling, not when Shedeur steps onto that field under those blazing Vegas lights with Max Crosby stalking him like some side quest boss waiting to strike. Not when the whole football world is zoomed in so tight you can practically feel the pressure through the screen. This is the moment everyone's been waiting for, and Stefanski knows he's either about to look like a genius or like the coach who didn't give his rookie real reps until the universe shoved him into it. His whole vibe says everything: excitement, nerves, strategy, hope, and just a tiny sprinkle of panic mixed in there. Is the timing sneaky? Maybe a little. Convenient? Definitely. Entertaining? Absolutely. This game is going to be wild. Shedeur's real debut.
He's going to want to make this work if he can make it. He's got Myles Garrett on his football team, looking like one of the best football players, not just defensive football players. He looks like one of the best players in NFL history.
But there's also
right now.
plenty of things.
I just want to get to this real quick.
Go ahead.
Like the notion that if there was some miracle worker on the bench who could save all of this for Kevin, that he's going to opt out of that and go with worse players and get worse players ready. It's fantastical.
Stefanski's sudden personality switch, Vegas lights, high stakes everywhere. And here's where things go from dramatic to straight up chaotic. Because once people started breaking down Stefanski's whole vibe change, the theories started flying faster than Crosby coming off the edge. Some fans swear he's been plotting this from the start. imagining him sitting in a dark film room, connecting red strings across a wall of Shedeur screenshots like he's filming the NFL's version of a conspiracy documentary. Others say his sudden excitement came from watching Shedeur run one perfect 2-minute drill in practice, and something in Stefanski's brain rebooted like an old Windows XP startup screen. But the funniest theory is actually the simplest. Stefanski didn't fully realize how good Shedeur really was until he finally let the kid touch the real equipment. It's like keeping a powerful racehorse locked in the barn all off-season, and the second you let it stretch its legs, it bolts like it's trying out for an Olympic commercial. That's basically what happened. And now Stefanski has to act like this was all part of his mastermind plan. So he's dropping little hints about work ethic and attention to detail, stitching together a brand new narrative quilt piece by piece. He wants people, especially Browns fans, to wrap themselves in the idea that he's been locked in on Shedeur the whole time.
So it's going to be quite the challenge, and we got to go to school on this football team and understand their schemes, understand what they're trying to do on any given down. So that's where we're getting started. Shedeur is going to start at quarterback. Dillon is still in the concussion protocol. He is improving. But obviously we got to put a plan together for all of our players, all of our offense, our defense, our special teams, plan of attack. And
because fans have been whispering for weeks that Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator, sounds way more hyped about Shedeur than Stefanski ever did. Rees has been bubbling with energy every time the rookie gets mentioned, and fans started joking that Rees adopted Shedeur like some long-lost quarterback's son. So naturally, Stefanski had to crank his energy up. He's not letting the OC start looking more like the head coach than the actual head coach. That's how NFL power battles start. One enthusiastic press conference at a time. Stefanski definitely heard the chatter, saw the posts, maybe even caught a clip of Rees talking about Shedeur like he's describing a Michelin star meal. And between that and the hype exploding around Sunday's matchup, he had to turn the enthusiasm thermostat up before the whole building started heating up without him. But nothing, and I mean nothing, matches the stakes of this Vegas game.
Trade and Dillon Gabriel struggles, it certainly seems like other prominent members of the organization want to see what they have. And that, to me, would indicate Andrew Berry trading away Joe Flacco when Kevin Stefanski made Joe Flacco the QB2 behind Dillon Gabriel instead of Shedeur Sanders. So how do the Browns get Shedeur Sanders moved up the depth chart? Simply remove Joe Flacco from the equation. It seems to me like there is no longer alignment on this situation. But
that's why his sudden demeanor shift feels almost diabolical. Not evil, just smart, calculated, crafted to slide him right where he wants to be when the dust settles. Either he becomes the wise coach who believed in the rookie from the jump, or he positions himself as the calm captain guiding a fresh quarterback through deep waters. Every expression, every tone, every tiny spark of excitement feels like a chess piece moving 3 squares ahead. He knows if Shedeur lights it up in Vegas, his stock shoots through the roof. He knows if Shedeur struggles, he can fall back on the classic rookie learning curve explanation. He's playing both sides like someone who refuses to get caught slipping, no matter how wild things get. And the funniest part, there's no escaping the truth. Shedeur completely flipped the energy inside that facility the moment he touched QB1 reps. Everything shifted, from the huddle chemistry to the tempo to the confidence in the receivers.
Finally get to see him on the field.
To me, this is his chance to make a statement that we've waited to have him make since draft night. To all the people that passed him up on draft night, to all the reasons he didn't get snaps with the first team offense, to the organization that may not have supported him the way that other people thought. Well, here's your chance. You get the whole week practicing with the first team. You're playing the Raiders, a beatable team. You get the start. It's your show.
The whole atmosphere started moving like a squad that finally realized their spark just walked into the room. Even the defensive players are walking around like they're protecting treasure now instead of fragile hope. And everybody can tell Stefanski didn't create that energy. It's Shedeur's pull bringing the whole squad into orbit. This whole vibe shift has become one of the most entertaining storylines of the Browns season because it's messy, accidental, dramatic, and packed with the kind of wild comedy only the NFL knows how to deliver. And as everyone waits for Sunday's showdown, one thing is crystal clear. Whatever Stefanski saw in practice this week flipped his whole outlook. It didn't just change him. It didn't just change the Browns. It changed the entire narrative wrapped around Shedeur Sanders. And now the whole football world is strapped in like it's movie night, popcorn ready, waiting to see if this diabolical energy switch becomes legendary or becomes one of the funniest accidental comedies the league has seen in years. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. See you on the next one.